Watch out for the alligator in the Granny Lane by the 156 mile marker.
This looks absolutely delicious, doesn't it? It can be good for you, though, so long as you remove the bun, the vegetables, and the sauces. Pizza can also be good for you as a truck driver, but just remove the crust. The food options that truck drivers utilize is highly important in determining what the health factor is for your future. It tastes amazing. These burgers, these chicken patties, fries, fast food, it's all available in the truck stops nationwide. And as a truck driver, we have to really think about our health. Everything is fried out there when it comes to fast food, and very far and few between fry in beef tallow. They use seed oils instead. Instead, this is what you should be eating. Red meat. That's right. Red meat is probably the healthiest food on the planet that a human being can eat. Eggs are another food you should be eating daily. These are packed full of vitamins and minerals. They're so easy to cook. You can cook them in many different ways. Find something that you like. Meat is the most bioavailable source of food on the planet. Plant-based foods are not as bioavailable to our bodies as meat is, and steak is a great choice. You should be cooking with butter as well, or other animal fat. You should never use margarine. They contain seed oils, and seed oils are very detrimental to drivers' health. I cook in my truck most of the time. This is a nice juicy ribeye steak, along with some cottage cheese, all prepared in my truck. We've all seen the after effects of an accident. Traffic is backed up, roads are blocked off, emergency crews shut down the highways or the road. It's a long process, especially if there's a fatality. In this situation, a truck driver suffered a medical emergency, which was later called a heart attack. The driver died at the scene, but the innocent people that they hit when they lost control of their 18-wheeler is another story. Luckily, nobody died from this car. Rescues were made, emergency crews did their job, and families were reunited. But this is not always the case. This is a traumatic event that will always be remembered and never forgotten. For some people, they will require psychological care for many years to come. The medical treatments in this case were minor, but precautions were taken nonetheless. The goal of this documentary is to save lives. Now, if this truck driver had seen this documentary or one like it 2 years prior, they may not have had that scheduled heart attack for this accident. And that is the goal of this documentary, is to save lives. I'm trying to hit this hard so that it comes home to you. If you're a driver, you have a responsibility not only to yourself and your family, but everyone else's family as well. You and your family are equally affected by the health of truck drivers. You can be traveling along, having a fun conversation, enjoying your day, and unbeknownst to you, you could come up against a truck driver that's about to have a heart attack. And statistically, if you're near them when they do, there's a really good chance you won't survive their heart attack. Life is so fragile, and we take it for granted. But don't take for granted that you're going to live forever. You could be having a conversation with your loved one, and the next moment they're gone. Why? Is it preventable? Sometimes it's not. But oftentimes, choices play into the equation and determine the outcome. If a truck driver has a heart attack, not only is their family going to lose them, but anyone innocently killed because that driver had a heart attack and lost control of that big rig, the loss is horrible. And I hope that you never have to experience this. But this is reality. We are humans. We are not super beings. We are fragile. We need to take care of our bodies, and that includes nutrition. Nutrition needs to be the forefront of everybody's daily plan. Do you plan on coming home? I want you to. I want to come home. So nutrition is very important to me and you. Like I said, life is fragile. Sometimes there's no time for goodbye. That conversation you had with your loved one this morning may be the last one you ever have with them. You don't know what's going to happen. But we can help prevent these accidents like this. The paramedics have a tough job as it is, but almost daily they see the reality of our fragility. There are other victims besides those injured in such a crash. Innocent bystanders, witnesses to the crash, will never be the same. Psychologically, it is devastating. They get out to help or try and help, and what they see, they can never unsee. I hope you never have to go through this, because I have, and I have seen it firsthand. We all share the roads and the highways, big rigs and cars alike. We all have our responsibilities, and taking care of our health, especially as a truck driver, is paramount and important. Now we're going to hear from the doctors and the fitness experts.
My name is Christopher Delisle, better known as Chris Cooking Nashville on YouTube in the keto and carnivore world, and really appreciate a chance to just share a couple of things with you guys. So Diet is an amazing part of a way to change your life, and there's a couple of things that I would like to offer up as some ideas to help for you guys. Number one, anything you can do to reduce any of the processed foods, especially when you're in places like convenience stores and gas stations and grocery stores, all the places we tend to find all those convenience foods. They're made with so many processed chemicals and flavors and colors and seed oils and all kinds of things that are just poisonous for our bodies. So anything we can do to reduce our intake of that, step number one. Step number two, a second tip, is to try to increase your protein intake. If you can increase your protein intake with good things like hard-boiled eggs or clean beef jerky that doesn't have a bunch of sugar in it, or steak or burger patties or chicken or anything that you can find that doesn't have a bunch of those seed oils and grains and other things attached to it, it's a fantastic way to give your body all of the fantastic protein that it needs and also stay satiated. And the third thing that I would say is try to get your electrolytes in. Drink plenty of water, but also make sure you're getting enough salt, magnesium, potassium, the other electrolytes, because especially if you're sitting long drives, doing all kinds of things, running all over the country, you need to be focused and you need to be comfortable so that you can be safe. And your electrolytes are going to keep you hydrated, feeling good, clear of mind. And those three things put together, taking out all of those processed carbohydrates and chemicals, keeping yourself happy and satiated with the protein, and clear and feeling good with those electrolytes, is going to make you a better version of you every day. For all the truck drivers out there, I value so much the work that you guys do, and we rely on you not only to connect all of the important resources we have all across the country and are all around the world, we also rely on you to take care of yourselves. My family and I, when we are on the road, are at the mercy of vehicles that large, and not only for your own well-being, but for my well-being and my wife and my parents, my family, my friends. I don't want anything to happen to you, and I don't want anything that happens to you to cause something to happen to us. And your metabolic health and things that you do to take care of yourself, that's also something that really helps me take care of my family and have the safety that we need on the road. And I just appreciate you guys and all the work that you do, and I hope that part of the work that you can do to help take care of my family and other families on the road is to also take care of yourself and your health, and that way we can all live better and be safer on the road. It would just mean the world to all of us to know that you are healthy and that you are safe, and that we are as well.
Hey everybody, my name is Maria Emmerich, and I have a lot of tips for you when it comes to being successful in your truck. I'm one to batch cook. I travel a lot. I'm always on an airplane or somehow in a vehicle traveling. And what I do is I make things ahead of time. I even made it for here. I made my protein buns, which are basically carnivore bread. You can make those ahead of time and they freeze well. And I was gonna throw them into the audience today, but I forgot them. But that's something that you could have in your truck all the time. And you just throw some sandwich meat in there, some cheese, mustard, whatever you want, and you have an easy sandwich. I also love to take like thinly sliced deli meat and dehydrate that into chips. So you got like a sandwich in chips. It's pretty awesome. And something else that we make all the time is pudding. Chocolate pudding made with hard-boiled eggs. Now, don't use the pre-made hard-boiled eggs at the grocery store because they're gonna taste like vinegar then. But if you just like boil some eggs, you toss it into a blender with some heavy cream or coconut milk, whatever you want to use, cocoa powder and some sweetener and maybe a little vanilla, and then blend that up until it's really smooth. You could pack that into a thermos and keep it cold in a cooler. It's really awesome pudding that, even Halle Berry loves it. Yes, I've made it for her. It's pretty awesome. And yeah, those are my tips for being successful in the truck, because it's way better than getting like gas station food. I'm sorry, like a Pop-Tart is just like a dry piece of cardboard. I got a recipe for a Pop-Tart that you can pack with you. A lot of people tell me that they don't have the time to go to the gym and work out, but I'm gonna tell you something. I just got back from spending a lot of time in Amsterdam. Not one person was overweight. They were all very fit, and not one person goes to the gym. But you know what they do? They walk everywhere. And here's the thing, a lot of people will go to the gym and they'll spend 30 minutes, maybe an hour, but then they're going to be tired all the rest of the day. If you get this there's a little timer you can get, or do it on your phone. Every 20 minutes, get up and move. Obviously you can't do that in your truck, but every time, like, you can, like, get out and move around, walk for 15 minutes, like, park farthest away from that gas station and walk to the bathroom and move around that way. Maybe do some squats, some push-ups, things like that. I think that's very, very effective. You don't have to go to the gym. I don't like to go to the gym, but when I'm in a hotel room, I'll do some tricep dips, push-ups, things like that, just with my own body weight, and it can be very effective. So the more I travel the world, I realize that most people around the world are the same. We all want the same things. We all want our families to be safe and healthy and happy. And so when you think about your family, when you think about your loved ones, your kids, your grandkids, think about the responsibility that you need to have to keep them safe and what you want to do to keep them safe. And I'm telling you that I love my kids. I adopted them 14 years ago, and I want to keep them safe by getting you healthy. And it's really important. We're all responsible to keeping everybody safe, but sorry, I'm getting really distracted with all the walking. It's everybody's responsibility to stay healthy and safe on the roads, and you are in charge of a multi-elephant sized vehicle that could wipe out a whole family. And to take that responsibility on and become healthier and happier you, and responsible by, eating really good food. We have great recipes that, you want pizza? We got pizza. You want a burger? I got some really great burger buns for you. You want fries? I got a fry recipe. But you have to make it, and you will be shocked at how amazing your heart health will be in the end. And I would be very grateful if you would do that for my family, and I hope we all do it for each other.
Hi, my name is Lily. I'm a certified nutrition health coach, and I know nowadays it seems so complicated to know what to do to be healthy, because it seems like so many people are contradicting one another. You can go online and find someone saying that meat's going to cause cancer, that eggs are going to give you a heart attack, that vegetables are going to give you leaky gut, that fruit is going to give you fatty liver and diabetes, that fish has too much mercury, that even the water has lead, and forget about it, don't even breathe oxygen because there's pollution in the air. And so often people are trying to become healthier, but they don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to do the wrong thing. And again, it seems like people can't agree on what it takes to be healthy, but I've interviewed hundreds of different doctors and healthcare professionals, and most people do agree on a few key basics. Number one, eliminate ultra-processed junk foods. Most people can agree that having more chips, more pizza, more cookies is not in your best interest. And so rather, if we can eliminate these ultra-processed junk foods, have less French fries, less soda, less milkshakes, then that's a huge step in the right direction. After that, have more protein. Whether you're a vegan, a carnivore, or someone in between, most people can agree that having more protein can be so valuable for our bones, our muscles, our immune system, our hair, skin, nails. Protein is so essential for our health and survival. And so by eliminating the ultra-processed junk foods, we instead have more protein. The next main thing is to get more movement. So if you are sitting in a truck all day, then when you get to take your break, then I would be doing laps around the truck, just walking, getting more blood flow, getting more circulation, mobility. I think having more movement is very, very key to health, as well as prioritizing our sleep, which I know nowadays we can be watching a Netflix series late at night or doom scrolling on social media, and we really need to break these habits and get in some more quality sleep. So I think if we can just do those four main things, eliminate the ultra-processed junk foods, have more protein, get more movement, and have more sleep, I think that right there is going to make a huge difference in your health.
Hi, I'm Lexi. I wanted to say thank you so much for including me in this documentary, and thank you so much for all the truck drivers and what y'all do. It's truly amazing, and I'm so appreciative. Thank you so much. And I wanted to give some of y'all my favorite real food snack options I like to take on the go. So first, of course, we have meal prepped meat. You can meal prep your favorite meat. It's super easy and convenient to take on the go. If you don't have time to meal prep, another option is biltong or beef jerky, beef sticks. Some of my favorite brands are Lineage Provisions, Paleo Valley, Chomps. Those are all great, and you can definitely find zero sugar ones at gas stations. I have before. I also like boiled eggs. They're super easy to take on the go. And olive snack packs. You can get olive snack packs. They're so good. And then dried fruit with one ingredient. Just make sure there's no added sugar. That's easy to take on the go as well. Even fresh fruit like apples, bananas. And it's really easy to find fresh fruit at gas stations. I see them at almost everyone I go to, along with dried fruit with one ingredient. You can also take some veggies, any of your favorite, like carrots, celery, and there are seed oil free hummuses that they don't really need to be refrigerated. So those are all great. Also, something I've been loving are pickled quail eggs or irregular eggs. They're so good. You can make them homemade or you can buy them from the store. All you need is vinegar, water, the quail eggs, and then just combine it and let them sit in the fridge, and they're easy to take on the go. Also, cheese sticks you can take, or any type of cheese you enjoy. Those are great, along with Greek yogurt. It really doesn't need to be refrigerated. You can have it out for a little while. I used to pack it to school and it would last me like all day. So I love that, if you don't think that's too weird. So those are some of my real food options I like to take on the go. I hope y'all got some inspiration from this video. Thank you so much for what y'all do. Y'all are amazing. Bye.
Being on the road, it requires preparation. That's the bad news. The good news, it's all doable. It's all possible. You see, like, depending on what your goals are, right? There's one key factor, one baseline foundational factor for anyone on the road: hydration. If you're going through different time zones, different altitudes, things like that, hydration is essential and is key. So it's very important to always make sure that you have quality water with you at all times. And please, that does not mean plastic bottled water. That means water in glass. Whether it's, there's various brands you can buy, or back to the preparation, if you're prepping your food and things like that, you want to have access to water in glass hydration. If you're doing reverse osmosis, make sure to add minerals back into the water. Celtic salt, there's a great company called Cell Food, things like that. As far as your food, most guys on the road, they have the ability to cook or heat up things in the rig, right? So we want to focus on being able to have some sort of a refrigeration or a cooler, dry ice, depending on how long you're going to be on the road. And that's where you're going to be able to keep your beef, your chicken, things like that, to be able to whip that up quickly. Because remember, if you're on keto or carnivore, from that school of thought, you can't just stop at a fast food place and get 6 hamburger patties wrapped in lettuce with cheese and all that, because you know why? Of course that'll meet your goals as far as keto and carnivore, but with the animal eats, you're ingesting as well. So all those types of conventionally raised animals are being shot up with massive amounts of hormones, antibiotics, eating tons of grains, which means they're high in linoleic acid, omega-6, which is going to affect you consuming it, particularly cholesterol. Now, that's a whole other issue, cholesterol. Cholesterol is a healthy thing, but not coming from sources like that. And then if you're not strict carnivore or keto, you definitely want to be able to stop off and have antioxidants, raspberries, organic raspberries, blueberries. Bananas are a good thing for potassium and keeping the electrolytes balanced, things of that nature. So there are lots of different ways, right? Back to the Me Too, you can find quality beef jerky. Again, it doesn't have to be organic, but make sure it is grass-fed and grass-finished. Very important. If it just says organic and it's a meat product, they are definitely still consuming corn and grains, which again drives up the linoleic acid, which you then consume, which it does the same to you. So the good news is it's all possible. It just requires some preparation. You can do this.
For decades, we have been told that red meat is bad for our heart health, that red meat is going to give us heart attacks. And now we know that all of this information was pushed by certain special groups who had a vested interest in selling us their carbohydrate-laden foods that were very addictive, very cheap to manufacture with a very high profit margin. And when the food industry realized that they could support nutrition research to show what they wanted to show so that they could sell more of their products, they took full advantage of that. And now we are left with this myth that red meat, the one food that we ate for the vast majority of our existence as a species here on Earth, is somehow going to cause this new disease, which is heart disease, and giving us strokes and heart attacks. As a nutrition professor for over a decade, I know all the ins and outs of the nutrition research, and I know how easily it can be manipulated to fit certain people's agendas. So please do not be fooled, and please understand that we have a lot of more recent research that is finally tackling this idea whether or not red meat can cause heart disease. And all of the recent data that we're getting is supporting our intuition, what our species already knew to be true, which is that eating real whole foods like red meat does not lead to heart disease. So eat a steak and rest assured that you are only going to get healthier, more energetic, and you will have a far lower risk of getting a heart attack. This is Dr. Sarah Zaldivar, and I hope this was helpful.
Hi, my name is Adrienne Gledhill, and eating a meat-based carnivore diet has completely changed my life. Prior to this, I've struggled since even being a little kid with obesity, and I had no idea I was also having autoimmune conditions the whole time. I had no idea that all my weight issues were stemming from things that needed to be healed, and I never found healing or even knowing I needed to heal until I found the meat-based diet. So prior to this, I tried everything from restricting, Atkins. I even tried being a contestant on The Biggest Loser. After that, I tried running and restricting more. And in that time too, right after the show, I gained 100 pounds in a year. So after that, I started running half marathons at really heavy, and I started restricting, low calorie, low fat, just like I did on The Biggest Loser, and it didn't work. So I tried gastric bypass. After that, I got really sick with anemia, chronic hypoglycemia, nutrient deficiencies, chronic fatigue, and my body just kind of shut down. I continued to struggle with obesity, still not knowing that the root of the problem was things that needed to be healed. It took another 10 years, we're talking 20 more years after The Biggest Loser, to find the meat-based diet. And since then, prior to the diet, I was having a hard time driving. I was having a hard time thinking, recalling. My memory was so shot that I would forget things like band concerts of my children. I was having food reactions every time I ate, to the point that I would cry and say, I'm just gonna give up. I'm just not gonna eat anymore. I was struggling with food addiction as well. That's a really big thing, of just overeating, like restricting all day long and then rebounding at night and then blaming myself. I had chronic fatigue. I was having trouble going up and down the stairs. I was having trouble sleeping. I was constantly peeing. Again, the anemia and the nutrient deficiencies. And I was such a mess, and I was so tired, and I got to the point that I was no longer functioning. I finally found a doctor who ran some blood works and said, you have a lot of autoimmune going on. But she didn't necessarily have an answer of how to fix it. It's just this random thing that you can have, I guess. And that's when my dad, who followed Vinnie Tortorich of the No Grains, No Sugar, said, you need to try carnivore. You need to try cutting everything except for meat and see if you can heal. And so that's what I did. And immediately, there was another thing. I had chronic anxiety my whole life, and the anxiety just poof. Now I only get situational anxiety. I don't get that gut-wrenching heart, soul, I can't sleep, I can't move, I can't barely even function because I'm so anxious. I rarely get food reactions anymore. I get to be full. Every other diet I was ever on made me leave the table hungry, and my mind was still hungry constantly, and I get to be full. And that has been so healing to my soul, to, instead of looking at food as the enemy, looking at it as nourishment. I rarely have the food reactions. I can drive again. My brain has gotten so much better. I couldn't have this conversation over a year ago because my brain just wasn't functioning. My blood numbers have gotten better, and since cutting the plants, I have not had one bout of hypoglycemia, and this is something that chronically plagued me despite eating no sugar, no flour. I even had tried cutting dairy. I was down to green beans and chicken, and I was still having chronic hypoglycemia, and it's gone. So along with that, of course, is the community that comes along with it to support you and to remind you that we're not just doing this to lose weight, because the weight is still, it depends on how your body's doing and how you eat. It's still a struggle, but the healing is continuous. And the healing is not just my body, it's also my heart, having community, having friends, and just really teaching other people. Let's all just nourish ourselves.
Every time I get in a car with my 4 kids, I pray. And I have so much fear that that is how we are going to pass away because of all the accidents that happen all the time. People with brain fog, people with health issues, and I just pray every single time that we make it to our destination safely. We do a lot of driving across the country to see my husband, so we take long drives. And I am so concerned, and especially with semis, the way they blow our cars around, the way they lose control. I live in Minnesota, there's ice, and I just pray every time we see a semi, we see a lot of them, that we're all gonna make it. So I just plead with anybody who is driving these huge vehicles to not only take care of yourself, but please take care of all the families, because these are the most precious things in the whole wide world. And I would hate to lose it because we went to the grocery store.
So our number one tip, first thing that we think all truckers should really be focused on when it comes to nutrition is making sure that meat is always the first option. If you need a snack, meat first.
Meat first.
If you need a snack, if you feel like you need something to have ready available, what are some things that they can do?
Meat sticks, jerky, look at the ingredients. Try to find jerky without
sugars and oils. And
meat first, meat only.
There you go, meat first, meat only as much as possible. Yeah, jerky's, biltong, what else? Meat sticks. There's even other things like carnivore bar and carnivore snacks is another good one, right? Yep. There's a bunch of different things that you can do.
You can order and buy in bulk and bring them with you.
Right, they don't take up a lot of space, they're not heavy, it's not like you gotta buy a whole bunch of stacks of stuff in the store.
But even in convenience stores, you can find meat and you can find usually hard-boiled eggs.
Hard-boiled eggs is another one, absolutely. Animal-based first. All right, what's the second thing?
Movement.
As much as possible, as often as possible, move your body in any way that you can, whether it's getting out of the truck and just walking around the truck a few times, getting some steps in, learn how to do some air squats or just lunges or something where you're working some flexibility, working your body, getting up and moving, getting your blood flowing. We need movement for our immune system function. We need movement for all the different things in our body, hormones. It's harder to lose weight if you're sitting around all the time. So the more you can move, the better everything's
Do some
be.
push-ups against the truck.
Whatever you can do, absolutely.
And what's number 3?
Number 3 is set a routine, set a plan, do something that allows you to be consistent in how you eat, how you sleep, how you move your body. So if it's, you set a rule, every time I stop my truck, I'm gonna do a walk around the truck. Every time I stop, I'm doing this. Every time this, every time that. We know there's a lot of different schedules, there's a lot of different sleep schedules and all the different things that impact the lifestyle that it is to be on the road. And the more routine and consistent you can be about how and when you're doing these things, the easier it's going to be to keep it going.
It won't happen by accident, so you need to be intentional and you need to be proactive. So think ahead about your typical schedule.
Yes.
What's going to work for you? Create a plan.
That's a really good point. Just like you plan a route, you plan a route, right? Plan how I'm planning my route. What am I going to do for my health at each point in that route? Put that into your, make that part of your route plan.
That's you prioritizing you.
Yeah.
Don't wait. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait. Don't put your health on the back burner. Don't put yourself on the back burner. Truck driving is not just a paycheck to provide for your family. It's you being able to come home to your family. It can be gone in the blink of an eye if you're not checking it and you're not taking care of it. One day, a heart attack could take your life, and all of those of us who are on the road with you, and there will be no you, and there will be no paycheck to bring back to your family, and other people will be robbed of their opportunity to go back to their families. Your health is your responsibility, and the safety of others on the road with you is your responsibility as well. It's not trivial, it's serious. Do something about it today.
I think if there's any message I want to share, it's that the role that you play in your family's lives, I know there's a big motivation to provide for the people that you care about. It's more than just a paycheck. It's you. The presence and the impact that you have on the people you care about only happens if you're there. And it's not just the money, it's not even just your presence, but it's the things that you represent, the responsibility, the consistency, the work ethic, the example that you show to the people that you care about them. I'm doing this for you, and I'm going to do it for as long as possible, as well as possible. And if I'm not taking care of myself, then that's part of the example that I'm setting. I'm setting the example that I don't care if I don't take care of myself. And that's not the example that you want to set. You want to set the example of someone who's not only responsible for their job, for their truck, for their load, for their responsibilities on the road, but is also responsible for the way that they live their life and the example that they set for the people that they love.
It's no surprise to hear that truck drivers have long hours that they are behind the wheel. By law, a truck driver can drive up to 11 hours in a 14-hour period. They have to take a 30-minute break within the first 8 hours. That's not very much break time at all. So these drivers are out here constantly, day and night, driving and driving and driving. Put on top of that the poor food choices that most of them, including myself, have made or still make. Fast food is something that drivers reach for all the time. Exerting yourself on this job is really easy to do. And yes, age does have a factor into it. But the fact remains that nutrition plays a key role in how you do. Driving all day, all night, just be aware of these drivers out there. And driver, be aware of the four-wheelers, aka the cars that are on the road with you. Whether you're male or female, you have a responsibility, and that responsibility means going home and making sure that those you share the road with go home as well. Let's not forget about Big Pharma. That's right. The medical pharmaceutical industry, I believe, in my opinion, wants you sick because they don't make money if you're healthy. Billions of dollars each year are spent on medications. Medications that, if they work, why do you have to keep getting a refill? Yes, this is my truck. The one I drive for my company. I stop and look at the scenery sometimes. Just to get out, walk around, move. Movement is important. It's a fact of life that trucks are needed to haul supplies to the stores so that you can go to the store and pick up what you need for you and your family. That's just how it is. So we are going to be sharing the road between trucks and cars, and that includes you and your family. Here's one thing you can do to help. Don't hang out in the no zone for trucks, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Don't hang out in these areas. They are dangerous. If that truck loses control, you'll be hurt. Truck drivers have a responsibility to keep their health in check. As a whole, truck drivers are probably the most metabolically unhealthy individuals for any career field that's out there. And we need to change that. That is the goal of this documentary, is saving lives, and in changing your eating habits, your exercise habits, not just sitting around driving all day. You need to get out. You need to be as meticulous as you are with picking up a load or delivering a load. You need to be meticulous about it. You need to dot your I's, cross your T's, and that is with your health. You need to eat healthy. So let's see what some more experts have to say for you. They're here to help you. That's what this documentary is for.
So I love talking to truck drivers because they are the preeminent common sense rules a day group of people. 1 + 1 = 2, whether you like it or not. And also they just want to know, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And so I love that. That's my people. That's how I grew up. And so if you're over the road, you're in the truck hours a day, you can't go to a gym. What are you going to do to start to improve your health right now? That's your question, right? Well, here's the answer. The first thing you're going to do is get all the sugar out of your mouth completely. All the added sugar, definitely, but most of the naturally occurring sugar as well. Fruit juice is just as bad as a Coca-Cola. Yep, I said it, and if you'll listen to me, I promise your health will improve. That's number one. Number two, remove all grains from your diet. Wheat, rice, oats, corn, and all the beans as well. Grains and beans are starvation food. That's prisoner food. That'll keep you alive, but it's never going to optimize and improve your health. Stop eating the bun. You can go to Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, Five Guys, Whataburger. Doesn't matter. Just get the meat. Get the quarter-pound patties. They're 100% beef with salt and maybe pepper. That's it. When in doubt, eat the meat, eggs, and seafood. If you eat seafood, don't eat it breaded and don't eat it cooked in seed oils, because that's number 3. Get all the seed oils out of your diet. Canola oil, soybean, peanut, sunflower, safflower. These are promoted as healthy, heart healthy oils. That's bullshit, okay? Stop eating those. The fats that human beings have eaten for the longest are animal fats, beef tallow, bacon grease, okay, chicken fat, sheep fat, butter. That's the fats that your body actually knows what to do with, and they will actually decrease inflammation and help your brain function better. So that's step 1, 2, and 3. And step 4 is add as much fatty red meat into your diet as possible. And remember, ground beef is typically 70-30 protein fat, right? That's a perfect macronutrient ratio. For truck drivers, I love keto. I think keto is a great diet, but for truck drivers, just go carnivore. Meat and eggs, that way you never mess up. If the meat's breaded, don't eat it. If it's cooked in a seed oil, don't eat it. But if it's cooked on a griddle in its own fat, like hamburgers are, boom, you go to a truck stop, they always got hot dogs. They may not be perfect, but it's way the hell better than the Cheetos. Does that make sense? Breakfast, bacon and eggs. You get it at the truck stop, or if you can't go to the truck stop, then you go to a fast food joint and you get a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit and throw the biscuit away. Is it perfect? No, but is it going to improve your health each and every day you do that? Absolutely. Okay, and then step number 5 is become more active. I've had truck drivers in my practice for over 20 years, I did DOT physicals for the first 20 years of my practice. I know that every time you stop, you got to do a truck lap. You got to check the tires, you got to check the lights, the brakes, all that stuff. Well, and I also know that truck drivers will make fun of you, right? So if you're out in the parking lot doing jumping jacks and push-ups, somebody's going to make fun of you when you get in to eat your hamburger patties, right? But you can make as many laps around that truck as you want to. And if a truck driver looks up, they're like, oh, he's making his truck lap, he's checking his tires. That's normal. But he don't know that that's your 10th trip around the truck. Oh, ain't nobody gonna make fun of you. You got extra walking in every time you stop. Do some walking. You can also do tons of exercises in the cab to build muscles. You can have some dumbbells in there. I know guys that do dumbbells while they got the cruise control set. That's against the law and I don't recommend it. But are you trying to improve your health, or are you trying to just get fatter and sicker and more type 2 diabetic? I don't know. You tell me. What's your goal? So if that's your goal, the diet part, that's 80% of the battle. Okay? Yes, do the truck laps. Yes, lift your dumbbells. But 80% of this is the food that you eat and the bullshit that you no longer eat. Those are the big things that are going to move the needle on your weight, your blood sugar, your A1C, how inflamed your joints are, how mentally cloudy and foggy, how much brain fog you got. All those things are going to start to improve immediately. You can have cans of tuna and salmon and cod liver and sardines in the truck. That is literally a gift from the Creator. That is the most nutrient-dense, healthy, uninflammatory foods you can eat. A lot of truckers I know, they'll cook up 3 or 4 pounds of 70-30 hamburger patties and put them in the fridge or in the cooler. They'll cook up 3 or 4 pounds of bacon, depending on how long you're going to be on the road. They'll boil 3 dozen eggs. You got some salt, boom, you got every single nutrient you need. You do not need cereal, you do not need fruit juice, definitely. You don't need fruits, really. You don't need vegetables, really. If you're trying to lose weight, lower your blood sugar, make your inflammation better, the carnivore diet it's a no-brainer, because you don't have to track anything. You don't have to count macros. You don't have to say, well, how much. You don't portion control. If you're hungry, you eat. If you're not hungry, you don't eat. And if you wind up getting bored and snacking on bacon and hamburger patties and boiled eggs, I promise you're still going to keep losing weight. That's the beauty of the carnivore diet. I'm Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician. I've been practicing family medicine for over 22 years now. I first started out practicing just regular, here's your refills, let's check some labs. Everything looks okay, we'll check it again in a year. But when I became severely obese and pre-diabetic, I couldn't have that, because I'm a country boy. Things have to make sense. I couldn't be a fat doctor telling other people they need to lose some weight. That just didn't work for me. So in the process of fixing my own health, I have stumbled upon what I now call a proper human diet. What I recommend to you, you're not going to hear from the American Heart Association or the American Medical Association or the American Diabetes Association, because they've all been bought and paid for by the big pharmaceutical companies and by the big food companies. It's so bad, especially in the case of the American Diabetes Association, that me and a group of other MDs and PhDs actually created a new society to help people with diabetes called the American Diabetes Society. The American Diabetes Society will help anybody with type 2 diabetes completely reverse it. It's gone, so you won't need any medicine. You won't have to go to the doctor every 3 months. If you're in danger of losing your 2-year card, you just cured your diabetes. It's normal. You don't have to worry about that ever again. And then you can keep that reversed for the rest of your life. If you have type 1 diabetes, you can achieve a normal blood sugar, a normal A1C, and you won't have to worry about losing your toes, losing your kidney function, or losing your eyesight because of the complications, the terrible complications of type 1 diabetes. The American Diabetes Society, it's growing every day. We've got a website, we've got a social media presence. We're going to have guidelines for doctors to follow so that they can help their patients with type 2 diabetes reverse it as well. The one thing I would like to say to over-the-road truck drivers is you've got to understand the degree of trust that society's putting in you. You're on the road, you're in 80,000 pounds of steel, and you've got little Yugos and Suzukis and little Ford Fiats going by you These people don't stand a chance. If your blood sugar's out of control, if you've got significant heart blockage, I know you want to keep your cards, you want to keep driving, you want to keep earning, you want to keep taking care of your family. Got that. Obviously, that makes good sense. But at the same time, you never want to be the guy that puts a family of 5 at risks, or at worst puts them in the cemetery because you didn't eat right, you didn't control your blood sugar, you're on too much diabetes medication, your blood sugar bottoms out, and then you roll over on top of this little family going to church. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to have to carry that the rest of your life. Even if you don't lose your job, you still get to sleep with that and wake up with that every morning for the rest of your life. So you've been given a lot of responsibility. You ain't paid for what you're worth. I totally agree. But you do have that responsibility. And so I implore you, please take care of your health, because you being in good health not only protects you and your family, but it protects families you've never met that you pass on the road every day. So please get your metabolic health under control. Reverse your type 2 diabetes. If you got type 1, you got to have a normal A1C. You got to stop having low blood sugars. If you got high blood pressure, you're at huge risk of having a heart attack or a stroke. Either one's going to mean that this 80,000 pound rig is completely out of control at 70 miles an hour. How many families are around you? Even though you didn't mean to do it, you're still going to do it. So please take this seriously. If you're severely obese right now, I promise you cannot be as good of a driver. Your reaction time is slower. Your mental reaction time is slower if you're severely obese. I know you're a good driver, but you're not as good as you could be if you fix your metabolic health, and you do that with the 5 steps I talked about earlier. Please think about it. While you're driving, turn off the music and think about this. How important is this? Not only to your spouse and to your family and to your friends, people that love you, but how important is it to that little family that you just passed or just passed you, that you could have killed? You could have ended an entire family tree. That's the end of it, because you didn't take the time, didn't take the initiative to fix your damn health. It's just as simple as this. No matter if you're at home, if you're on the road, if you pack your own food, if you eat at a fast food joint, remember the 4 things: beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. When in doubt, eat beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. If you're not sure, eat beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. 100% beef, 100% bacon, butter, and eggs. Not margarine, not plant butter, real butter that comes from cow's milk. Beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. It's that simple.
Hey, my name is Joe. I'm one half of Two Crazy Ketos. My wife Rachel and I run a YouTube channel called Two Crazy Ketos. We actually also have a camping channel called Two Crazy Campers. And we have been in the keto carnivore lifestyle, for me 8 years, for Rachel 7 years. I lost over 100 pounds on keto, but more importantly, I took back my health. I have several pins in my ankle and spent 25 years on arthritis medications and painkillers. Was about to go into a wheelchair when I discovered the ketogenic lifestyle for actually losing weight, not knowing all of the different health benefits. And after 6 months, I no longer needed to take any of that medication, and I've never had to get the ankle replacement surgery that the doctors were saying. And we absolutely think keto is just the perfect way to eat, because it is not about weight loss. It is about health optimization. Weight loss is just a side effect from keto. And for us, our job is to get the message out that we can take back the health, that your health is not about calories in, calories out. It's not about different medications. 80% of your health is just about the food that you eat, and the best thing to eat is the proper human diet, as our friend Dr. Berry calls it, where basically we're eating mostly meat with animal-based fats and maybe a little bit of vegetables for, educational or, just entertainment purposes. So as somebody who spends a lot of time on the road, because my wife Rachel and I are RVers, we spend a lot of time on the road with truckers. And it does concern me because, I know I'm on the road a lot, and it's so easy to eat unhealthy when you're on the road. We'll drive on the road sometimes for 8 to 12 hours in a single day. As a matter of fact, I just did that on my way up here from Fort Lauderdale. And I know that it's so easy to eat unhealthy, but the bottom line is your health is more important. It is so easy to eat a proper human diet, even as somebody who is on the road. And the thing is that when you're eating the proper human diet, when you are eating mostly meat and you're avoiding the high carb, high sugar foods that they tell you is going to give you energy and keep you awake, it's going to give you a better health. It's going to help you to prevent a heart attack. And here's the thing is, you know, when you're on that road, if you fall asleep, if you get tired, if you have a heart attack, yes, we're worried about you and we're worried about your loved ones. We want you to get home and we want you to be home for your loved ones. But there's also hundreds and hundreds of other people on the road with you at the same time. And I know for me, as I have a truck passing me, I worry about that. You know, I grip the steering wheel just a little bit tighter as that truck is passing me when I'm towing my RV. And the last thing that I want to see happen for either you or other people on the road is for you to have a heart attack and then have that 18-wheeler veer off or maybe flip over and kill some other people on the road. Maybe it could be my loved ones, it could be your loved ones. It's just something that we really want you to think about, to take back your health, not just for you and your loved ones, but for everybody that you are sharing the road with.
Joe had to drive through a hurricane to get here. He was reunited with his wife, Rachel.
3 tips that I have for truck drivers is to leverage whole food. So whenever you come in contact with whole food, whether it is boiled eggs, whether it is pre-made bacon, real meat, reach for that. It's common to want to have bars and things, snacky type of food on the road, but I think real whole food is key. I think that when you stop for, you know, a truck stop or you stop and stretch yourself some legs, I think it's important for you to do some what we call functional fitness, because you want to always be building muscle. You need to take time out of your schedule to be lifting something, and it can be as easy as body weight exercises. Even if you have like just a bar, something, a stick, a tool, a wrench in your truck, you can just lift that 50 times in one direction, 50 times in the other direction. You're gonna get a real workout. Things like a sit-up, a push-up, a plank, a squat, any of those things will really help you and benefit you. You don't need to be doing cardio for 2 hours a day if you don't have time for that, but just make sure that you're getting in some strength training every day. The other advice that I would have is try not to prop yourself up on caffeine. Caffeine is one of those things, and man, as somebody that definitely is a self-proclaimed coffee addict, that's really a hard thing to kick. I found that it's going to be about 2 weeks of really white knuckling that process to get yourself off of caffeine, but it can be done. So when you have an opportunity, maybe you're taking a break, maybe you were off duty for a small period of time, leverage that time to be able to get off of caffeine, because that's really going to help your life. Hey truckers, I am Rachel and I am one half of 2 Crazy Ketos, and I would really like to encourage you to come and subscribe to our channel and visit with us. We are just average, ordinary people who started keto. I was very unwell. My husband had mobility issues. He was having to leverage a wheelchair. We thought that was going to be a permanent circumstance, but thanks to keto, we were able to take back our health. Each of us have lost more than 100 pounds, and our channel really is all about facilitating community. So no matter where you are on the road in the world, we're there for you. I think it's important for us to have an online community where we share tips and tricks that just average people are finding working. We're not a doctor, we're not a nurse, we're not a health professional, but we're somebody that can get you connected with other people who maybe are thinking like you, or what's a recipe, an easy recipe that I can put together in my truck? What is something that is budget conscious that's going to really help me to save money but pursue this keto lifestyle? It doesn't have to be expensive, and you don't have to do it alone. So check us out at 2 Crazy Ketos. Hey truckers, This is Rachel from Two Crazy Ketos, and I just want to reach out to you, not as a social media influencer, not even as a wife and a mother, but I just want to talk to you as a daughter of a gentleman who passed away from what they call a widowmaker heart attack. I knew my dad was unhealthy. We all knew. He knew. In fact, we found a letter written in his desk to the family saying he was sorry, and this was a year before he passed away. He had apparently had a close call before he actually passed away, but he ignored the signs, he ignored the symptoms, he ignored his health, and so he had a widowmaker heart attack. We always hoped that at some point we would have that moment where we all as a family decided to do better. We would have a ride in the ambulance that would be the time where we as a family changed what we were doing. We didn't have that. He just died. And so I'm going to implore you as a daughter, maybe you have children, your children want you to live. And not only is it important for you to live for your children, it's important for you to live for the other people that are on the road around you. When my dad passed away, he passed away sitting at his desk doing work. He was at work when he died. If you pass away because you have a health concern that you know you need to deal with, but you are ignoring, you're going to not just affect the lives of the people in your family, but you are going to severely impact the lives of those on the road around you. So please, not just for your family, not just for you, but for all of the people on the road, please, now is the time for you to do what you know you need to do. Maybe you've been putting it off for a while, but you know it's time to change some things. Please, I implore you to do just that and do it today.
Where are they? Oh, there we go. Look at this. Now this is how cattle should be raised. Look at them. They're just munching on grass at their leisure. Look at that. Look at all this land they have to roam on. And this is just two cows. Look at all these cows just grazing the grass. That's what you call happy cows. Very happy cows. Look at all those vegans eating that grass. And then we're going to eat them. That's right. They're going to be good, nutritious food for us. They're treated very well here. Oh, shall we check and see what our... Oh, no, me still... Go ahead.
So like I was saying, truck drivers don't know how hard trucking is as one of the people out there. When you're in the driver's seat, most of us do our 11 hours, but let's just say 7 to 11. You got a lot of problems with your kidneys, your liver, you're not hydrated because you don't want to stop and use the restroom. So, you know, your body's deteriorating every day that you're driving those long hours and not putting the nutrients it needs. Also, the activities out here, you see a lot of truck drivers, you know, they're a little on the big side, and you know, it's tough out here. You go to a Love's, you go to a Pilot, and you have nothing but crappy, greasy food that we get accustomed to, and like anything, it's addicting. It's addicting to eat that shit. That's how it is. But, you know, for everybody that wants to change a part of their life, you gotta want to do it. You got to want to do it. You cannot wish to get healthier or better. You know, I'm actually looking forward to this man's YouTube channel to get more insight, because you can never have too much info on health. So as for myself, I bring my dog just had a little potty there, my bad, but I bring weights, I bring bands, belts, straps. You know, I'm 43, so I gotta stay in shape. So So I do have a YouTube channel for those that want to get fit, use the bands, and you know, my fold-away bench is a big asset to me. You can get all this at Amazon or Walmart. Real simple. I started with the bands. I was 300 pounds. I'm about 225, but you know.
Awesome, brother. Awesome.
So you know, if you have any questions, you know.
And you've been doing this how long with the exercising?
I want to say I've had my license for 6 years. For 4 of them, 4 and 3 years, I've been hitting it hard. And if you go on my YouTube, you'll see the slight difference in my body change. Because I did that about 2 years ago. The dates, some of the films have the dates on them, so it's hard to say exactly when I started. I just know I had to get my ass up and do something. I was almost gonna have that machine for the sleep apnea.
Yes.
And you know, this is our fucking career, man. We provide for our families. I cannot be in the truck with a machine and maybe one day not wake up.
I tried it once. I hated it.
Oh man, you know what? I'm a single father, 3 kids. The last thing I need is to have my health deteriorate and then my kids left with no one. So I had to do something for myself to be better, and my kids were the driving force behind that. My daughter, my oldest one, was recently in a car accident that left her with traumatic brain injuries and bedbound. So when that happened, about going on 3 years, I just started hitting it hard. I couldn't focus. And that's the thing about truck drivers, man. We have to deal with so much shit at home, deal with dispatchers, deal with shippers, receivers, deal with assholes on the road, deal with assholes on the truck, because nowadays truck drivers are assholes. It's very rare you get the flashy lights, you get the thank yous, you get the, hey, let me help you back in. It's all messed up now. So in my case, when my daughter's accident happened, it was very hard for me. And exercising and pushing myself let me not be so down when I was driving, or my emotions get the best of me. I was able to focus on the road. And from there, it just took off. I started boxing, started doing shit. And so my daughter's accident was the real hard driving force of taking this to that next level. So that's where I'm at right now.
Hey, I'm Chris with Salty and Keto Chow. We created Salty back in December of 2023 to kind of address some concerns we had with the electrolyte market. We figured we could do it a little bit better. We're not using citric acid. We're not using any maltodextrin of any kind, which is surprisingly difficult. And for people who are in the carnivore space, in the keto space, not having maltodextrin is really important, but a lot of food manufacturers don't seem to care about it. So it's important to us, so we wanted to have something that was delicious, that was giving people the electrolytes they need, because most people aren't getting enough electrolytes, specifically enough magnesium, but also potassium and sodium, which sodium's king and, well, potassium's queen. I don't know what that makes magnesium, but anyway, without the right amount of magnesium, you're going to end up with cramps, you're going to be having problems sleeping at night, and not enough sodium is going to cause problems down the line with all of the electrolytes that you're having. So we wanted something that tasted pretty good, but also didn't have any of the really weird ingredients that tend to be included in all the other electrolytes out there.
Hello, I am Miriam Bear from Keto Chow and Salty, and I just wanted to give you 2 tips, 2 tips for truckers when they're doing keto or a carnivore. I would say what you can do is try to make sure you optimize the like dried meat that you can bring, and there are different tools that you can have in your toolbox. So let's see, since I do Keto Chow, I'm going to tell you, of course, Keto Chow is a good thing you can use. The nice thing about Keto Chow is you can mix it on site and then just drink it right away. So that's a good thing. You can also put it in the fridge. I know when you have like a truck fridge, it's going to be really small, so it might be easier just to mix it on hand. So if you can have some avocado oil or olive oil or something like that, and that you don't have to keep refrigerated, that's going to be easier for you to use Keto Chow. But then the other tip would be just what kind of dried meats can you keep on hand that are not just jerky you can get at the grocery store. Maybe you can get some freeze-dried stuff. That would be good to take with you. I would like to encourage you to take your health into account. In addition to your job and your family, you are very important and very valuable, and what you do can affect other people. And so try to take your health into account. Make sure you're making healthier choice options and getting out and exercising when you're not driving, and you will be able to improve and feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
In addition to helping other people by your actions. I don't know if that makes sense.
We're doing registration from 3 to really the rest of the day, but you're more than welcome to go into this room after you register. We have some games set up, just, get to know each other, mix and mingle, play some games and hang out. That'll be happening until 6, and then we kind of take a break and we come back here for dinner and the meet and greet at 7. So if you want to mix and mingle, you can grab your swag and your badge. You can go in there, take a look at it, and talk to people. Or if you're an introvert like me, you can get your bag and you can go wherever you like to, and then you can come back here at 7 o'clock, okay? Thank you so much for coming to game time. But game time is from 3 to 6, and guess what time it is? 6 on the dot, right? So as you've noticed, the lovely staff here at the golf house is getting set up for our dinner tonight. In order to do that, we need the space clear, and so we invite you to see the exit, right? And
because I know that this is your concern when you do allow someone to have a vote. So let's get this right out of the way. We love our family. We honor our heritage. We value our friends. We respect our doctors. We appreciate expert advice. I appreciate anybody who's done the time to get through school. But I took my dog to the vet that same week. Her name was Tiba. She was an awesome dog. And she was losing patches of her hair. And the first question the vet asked me was, what are you feeding her? Right? I was like, whoa, what are we feeding my dog? And so...
Yeah, find your keto, that's right. And before we do that, let's talk a little bit about who we are. So does that change? All right, good. So that matches that. Okay, you can.
Oh, good.
Right, so a little bit about me real quick first. I started my journey in my mid-30s, mid to late 30s, about 250 pounds. Not really happy with life, a lot of gut issues, IBS, sturgeon bouts, things like that. And through a process, a long process, it did not happen overnight. It took 8-10 years to find the combination of the things that I needed to get where I am today. Okay? It took years to get where I am today. Now I have...
You need a space for me. Okay. You know what? Okay. How's it going, Jess?
He acts like it.
Does it? No, Jess.
False choice. The other false choice is when you're sitting home and you're drinking Pepsi and eating Cheetos and Lucky Charms and whatever the hell, and you're like, I don't care, whatever. I'm eating the, what is it called, the IC diet, I see it, I eat it, And then you're like, you have a scare, you have chest pain, or your A1C's high, or your blood pressure's high, and you're like, crap, I'm about to clean it up, right?
Later that evening, we all took a walk down to a Brazilian steakhouse. It was my first time. It was delicious. Look at that meat. Look at that. I will go back anytime.
Yeah, bro, that's for the night.
We got up one morning before the crack of dawn and gathered for a 4.5-mile walk. It was a little nippy, but all in all, it was pretty pleasant. The scenery was absolutely beautiful.
First time going to one.
It was a gorgeous morning, and I really enjoyed the walk. I even walked with a new friend. That's one thing about Ketopalooza. You make new and lasting friendships. It's a wonderful event to go to. If you're going to go to an event, this is a great one.
We're still there. I'll wait for you to get there. And we're like, and during COVID, this other role got hired to be
Hey Werewolf Pack. I just got back a little bit ago from my 4.5K walk at Ketopalooza. We went to the Big Four Bridge, crossed over, and came back. 2.25 miles each way. Now, before I went carnivore, I could not walk across a parking lot without getting winded. Now look what I can do. So, I've extended, I was supposed to leave today, but I extended my stay one extra day. I don't leave out till tomorrow with my truck, so why not? I'm just going to stay and relax, enjoy the sights a little more, and just enjoy my vacation. Later, guys. Oh, and I was able to get all of the filming done I wanted to do for the documentary, Trucking on Steak and Eggs, that releases December 1st. I'll be starting the editing phase at the end of the month. Stay tuned. So much more coming.
Hello, my name is Autumn Weathers, and I am the founder and host of Ketopalooza. Ketopalooza is a community event and conference for people interested in learning about the keto, low carb, and carnivore lifestyle. For more information, you can find us at www.ketopalooza.com. That's KETOPALOUZA.com. Or you can find us on Facebook at Ketopalooza. Firstly, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for the work that you do, because it might look unseen, but I recognize that without you, we don't have anything. Without you, the world doesn't move. You have the responsibility of transporting the things that we need every day to and from the places that they need to go in order to make sure that we can live our lives. And along with that responsibility of transporting those goods comes the responsibility of making sure that you're in fit and proper condition to transport those goods. You are an expert. You have the ability to command a however many ton, huge, large vehicle. And with that comes a lot of power. And with that power comes responsibility. You have the ability to really make or break someone's entire life based on your personal health. And with that power, we really, really want you and need you to take responsibility for your health and to make it a point to live a healthier lifestyle. And I know that that's easier said than done, because you sacrifice your time, you spend hours on the road, there aren't gourmet kitchens, there's not a lot of good food you can get quickly. By nature of your job, you have to be seated for lots of hours a day. I get it, the odds aren't always in your favor, but you have the power to do it. You have the power to make the best of the trade that you are skilled for and to make the road safer while doing it. And we thank you in advance from all of our families to even your family as well that misses you while you're out on the road, that misses you while you are getting things to and from where they need to be. We thank you for what you do, but we also implore you, please take your health seriously. It could save not only your life, but the lives of the people that you share the road with. Thank you so much.
Hey, Ben Azadi here, and here are my 5 tips for truck drivers who are doing the keto lifestyle or even the carnivore lifestyle. Tip number 1, I would definitely incorporate some variation of intermittent fasting. When you're fasted, your body's going to produce more energy for you. You're gonna have more clarity, you're gonna be able to concentrate on the road or maybe listen to a podcast while you're driving. But fasting would be terrific because we know that when you're on the road, it's gonna be very difficult to find quality whole food. And I know when I personally travel, I'm not a truck driver, but when I travel on an airplane, I'm fasted, and you could do something similar. And the cool thing about fasting is you lower inflammation, lower insulin, tap into body fat, produce more ketones. So it's a great tool in the shed. So that's the first tip. Second tip is to look for, of course, protein and fat when you stop at different shops or restaurants. And I would always ask the server at restaurants what oils they cook with. And I'm typically trying to avoid the seed oils. So if you could find a grilled steak or a grilled burger, something grilled, that's typically safe. But the protein and fat is going to help you feel full and satiated. Yes, it'll keep you in ketosis, and then when you pair it with the fasting, you're able to actually go a period of time without food and feel good and not feel hungry and have all these cravings. So find protein and fat as much as possible. The cool thing about protein and fat, you can find it in like beef sticks and jerkies and things of that nature at convenience stores. The third tip is going to be the seed oil thing that I just mentioned. Do your best to avoid inflammatory seed oils. And I know that they're keto friendly. I know that they're in 80% of our food supply. They're pretty much everywhere. But we want to avoid these corn oil, cottonseed oil, canola oil, soybean, sunflower, safflower oil, rice bran oil, and grapeseed oil. These are inflammatory oils. Instead, butter, ghee, olive oil, coconut oil. Hopefully we could find restaurants on the road or even products that have the clean oils. That's going to be very important. Tip number 4 is possibly, this is something that just comes to mind now, when you're driving and you're in that truck, maybe roll down the window and get the sunshine directly on your skin versus the window being up, because you're not getting the UV and UVB and UVA benefits when the window is up. You're getting half of the benefits. And when you put the window down, and I know that might be difficult if you're on the highway, but maybe on slower roads, and you get the sun directly on your skin with no window blocking it, you produce more vitamin D. It helps regulate your hormones. It helps sync your circadian rhythm and your hormones with Mother Nature. So I would recommend putting the window down when you can, getting that sunshine. That's 3, right? So I think that's 3. Let's go to 4. 4 is going to be, let's see. 4 is going to be to move your body as much as possible. Yeah, I know that when I'm on airplanes and I'm stuck in that position and then I get up and I feel tight, and David could relate to that, that's a problem, right? So maybe finding some stops, gas stations, whatever it is, and just doing some quick stretches. You know, beyond the fact that it's going to help your body feel more loose and less inflamed, when you move around and just do some simple stretches, I mean, just doing things like this and just going up and down frequently throughout the day, you move your lymphatic system, and that's going to flush toxins and lower inflammation. It's just going to help you feel good. So whenever you get a chance, an opportunity, like get the movement in, doesn't mean you have to go and do push-ups and squats, although that's great, but just moving around as much as possible will be terrific. And the 5th one, and I don't know how this works when you're on the road, but I imagine you might be sleeping in your truck a lot or finding some locations to sleep at, but do your best to get quality sleep as much as possible when you're on the road. I know that's easier said than done, but that's just going to help with your ketone production, with your inflammation. It's going to help lower cortisol and insulin when you get quality sleep. So definitely prioritize the sleep. There might be some things you can do if you sleep in your truck, like earplugs for any of the road noise, a sleep mask, whatever you can do to improve your sleep quality. And those would be my 5 tips for those doing keto on the road. Prioritizing your health is important, not just for truck drivers, but every single human being. I always say if you treat your health casually, you will end up a casualty. And we know heart disease, heart attacks are the #1 killer in most countries. #1 in the United States, with a person dying from a heart attack or heart disease every 33 seconds, which is about 700,000 people per year in the United States. So it's vital to take ownership over your health and prioritize your health. And what better way to lower inflammation and prevent disease than a keto lifestyle? So I hope this inspires you to take action, prioritize your health, and when you take care of your health, It upgrades your life, your relationships, and everybody around you.
It's nothing for an over-the-road truck driver to do 100,000 miles a year. No matter what kind of weather we're facing, we make sure that the stores have what they need so you and your family can have what you need. It's pretty much simple. Hello, I'm at home on home time. As some of you know, I go out 2 months at a time, come home for 5 days, and then I go back out, do it all over again. Yes, I'm unshaven. Yeah, I'm just kicking back. I head out tomorrow morning. So just wanted to say, hey, this is normal life for an over-the-road truck driver.
I'm Rebecca of Carnivore Wellness. A few pieces of advice for those who are going over the road for their jobs, wanting to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Of course, I'd recommend starting with a healthy approach to your diet, making sure that you're eliminating the sugars, the processed food, the junk, the carbs. You don't need that stuff to have good sustained energy. Instead, focus on fueling your body with fat, keeping that carbohydrate count on the lower side so that your body can tap into natural fat stores, keeping you mentally clear, calm, focused, and feeling energized as you continue to do your job very well. So in addition to that, I would also recommend getting really good sleep. Now that's going to be a challenge in a truck. I know a lot of you have to leave your rigs running and you're kind of staying with your load as you travel, and that's great. But you can do things like making sure that you're going to sleep at the same time every night, rising with the sun, getting that sunlight in your eyes, stepping outside, taking a little brief walk before you wind down for the evening, starting the next morning with a brief walk outside. All of those things can really help to allow you to get better sleep at night, again allowing you to stay energized, focused as you are doing the very important work of moving all of our goods across the country. So thank you for what you do, and also enjoy staying healthy with a quality lifestyle on your over-the-road job.
Thank you so much.
Hey everyone, today we're going to give you food tips for truck drivers. You want to start us off?
Yes, so if you're on the road, if you're a truck driver, you're traveling a lot, we have been traveling a lot for a documentary. My best advice for you first is, as my friend Bill Knott says, prepare, prepare, prepare. One of the things we do is we make up Emma's famous
Power Bowl.
Power Bowl, Power Bowl, Power Bowl. It's scrambled eggs, bacon, ground beef, all in a bowl. You can make up a ton of it before you leave. You meal prep. You can put it in little containers.
Delicious cold too.
It's so good cold. When we filmed Dr. Ken Berry, that's what I took with me, and that's literally all I ate because I'm a carnivore, I'm not picky, but it just tastes incredible. You eat it and you're full and you feel good. I was eating that in the car. So being prepared is one of my first tips.
Yeah, and then to add on to that, Brett from Boozer Carnivore, he made this up. You can also make little meatballs out of the ground beef for your Power Bowl, and it's so delicious and tasty. My tip is if you're not packing a lunch, you can go to McDonald's, and it's actually much cheaper, and you can ask them for a quarter pounder off the a la carte menu. Make sure you say the a la carte menu, and then it's cheaper. And that's really delicious.
And shout out my buddy Adam from Carnivore Today. If you get the McDonald's app, you can get a discount on that. I think it's like 20% off. It's just free. You just use the app. McDonald's burgers, there's some people that are like, oh, that's bad, it's horrible, McDonald's. It's 100% ground beef. If it's good enough for Ken Berry, it's good enough for me. I'm not advocating for going out and eating that every single day, but if you're traveling and you got nothing else, there's no seed oils in it. How do we know, Emma, there's no seed oils in there?
Because we feel great.
Because we feel great, but Emma used to work at McDonald's, so she verified it for me
when
she was there.
Oh, we got an
Insider tip there. And my other tip is bring your own salt. The salt at restaurants like McDonald's and others, there's dextrose and there's garbage in it. We have these little portable Redmond salt shakers. They sell them on Amazon. We have them on our healinghumanity.movie website. It's a little travel-sized Redmond thing.
Oh,
yeah, look at that. Perfect. And then you can salt it and you can have the real good salt that's got everything in it that you need.
Yeah, they have keychains too, so you can just hook it up to your car keys, and it's perfect for on the go.
Yeah.
And then you can go to Culver's, of course.
I don't know if
really
that-
like Burger King.
We get a lot of patties, so Culver's, Wendy's, McDonald's, those are the ones when we're on the road. Be very, very careful with ingredients, sauces and spices and things like that, and seed oils. So we were talking about this earlier, there's carnivore diet, and then there's a proper human diet. If you get a burger, you're like, well, that's carnivore diet. But if the burger has seed oils all over and you eat it, it messes you up, that's not really a proper human diet. So I advocate for a proper human diet. And how I do that is if I'm ever going out to eat at a restaurant, fast food or whatever, I tell them I have allergies. It's not even lying or being untruthful. If I eat seed oils, it will mess me up. Right, Emma?
Yep.
She's seen it happen before. So I tell them I'm allergic to seed oils. If you just say, I don't want seed oils, they're gonna go back to the kitchen and be like, whatever, and they're gonna put it in. And they're not gonna listen to you. If you use the word allergy, that sets off an alarm in their brain because there could be lawsuits and things like that. So say, I'm allergic to seed oils. That's one of my tips.
The next thing is bacon. You can just put it in a little bag and it's perfect. Bacon, easy to go. You can put it in the air fryer or just cook it up. And then, I don't really like it, but his favorite is, what are the eggs? What is that called?
Hard-boiled eggs?
Hard-boiled eggs, yeah. I'm not really a fan, but some people love it. He loves it. My family loves it.
Yeah, hard-boiled eggs is great. Bacon is great, like Emma said. Just make up a ton of it. If I was a truck driver, that would be my go-to. Bacon is incredible cold. You could just snack on it and just have it there.
It is.
It's one of the best, and it's got a lot of fat in it. And if you're fine with pork, it's a good go-to for sure. So those would be some of my tips. I think if I was a truck driver too, I'd probably get like. I would make like a little rig, like a portable grill or something I could bring with in the truck.
I get a little cooler and have it in the back, and then you can have everything.
Yeah. I think the biggest advice I have, though, is just be prepared and try to plan things. If you could do meal prepping. We're not truck drivers, and we still do meal planning just because it's easier to make up a ton of food at one time. We traveled all the way to North
Carolina from Wisconsin, and that's what we did. We had a little cooler, and we had all our food in it. We went to McDonald's.
Make up a ton of food one time. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but then you have it for the whole trip. So I think those are some of our tips, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
Thank you much.
Hi everyone, Dr. Anthony Chafee here. So my advice to truckers who want to go on a carnivore diet or just to eat properly is to eat a carnivore diet, eat a lot of fatty meat and water, and that's it. Doing this, you'll be satiated longer. You use long truck drives. You don't actually need to eat and snack constantly. You don't have to stop as much, and you don't have to worry about where your next meal is coming from. If you eat high density nutrition, you don't need to eat as much or as often. So you eat a lot of nice big steak. It's nice, we enjoy it, and you're also satiated. You don't need to eat for another 12 to 24 hours. So that would be my advice. It's very convenient for me and my work. If I'm on call for 36 hours and I don't have a chance to eat, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. I catch up on the steak when I finish my shift, and so it makes life a lot more convenient and easy when we have demanding jobs like that. So that'd be my advice.
And what are plants trying to do to us?
Yeah, well, we don't eat plants because plants are living organisms. They like to stay living organisms because, as my professor of cancer biology said, it's not a good idea to eat plants because plants are trying to kill you. They want to stay alive, and if you eat them, they die. And so they're happy for you to die instead.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Chafee.
Not a problem.
When you are on the road in your truck, there are plenty of great options that you can do. You can go to any fast food spot and get a bacon cheeseburger, just ditch the bun. And if you're at a market, like a gas station that has a market, you can get some meat sticks. Sometimes they have hard-boiled eggs or some beef jerky. Just be sure to check the ingredients and make sure that there isn't any sugars or seed oils in them. Cheese sticks would be great, pork rinds, but again, check those seed oils.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Courtney. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
This is Courtney's cookbook, Carnivore in the Kitchen. I highly recommend it. And one of my favorite recipes in here that I use as a truck driver is the cottage cheese and eggs. Simple but delicious. It's packed full of recipes, and many you can make work in the truck. You just have to be creative. But definitely when you're at home and you got a kitchen, incredible. So congratulations to Courtney. Courtney, my friend, this is an amazing cookbook. Just wanted to give you a special shout out for that.
Hey, Zach. I'm Dr. Sabrina Soul, my husband Zach. And first of all, if you're watching this, super cool because it means you are interested in better living, healthier lifestyle while on the road, which is it's just really freaking cool. You know, if you're already at this point, you're probably picking up some tips and tricks along the way. But my biggest thing for people is really kind of pay attention to the packages of things that you are picking up on. So if you're kind of looking at, hey, this jerky, you know, maybe this is going to be good because it's still meat-based, what you really want to look for is, are there any added sugars to it, or are there any added oils to it? So just take a look at that ingredients list, because there are healthier options out there, and even if you have to order them online to kind of just keep in your vehicle with you, it's still going to be a better choice than a lot of the gas station options you might run into.
Yeah, what about the like different fast food options and how?
Run into that.
Well, you're the queen of that. You love
So
to.
we actually had a road trip when we went to Florida and back, and what I actually ate a lot of was quarter-pound patties from McDonald's. You can get those completely plain. You can add your own salt if you're into that. I did, but they are probably one of the safest things you can get and relatively inexpensive, and they're nicey filling too. So I love just those plain burger patties. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is because you're sitting for a long period of time, movement is so important. Now, you want to start building up that muscle mass so that you actually can burn more calories at rest, and you're going to end up stronger later. So what I challenge my patients to do is, it's my 500 challenge. So over the course of 1 week, you do 500 push-ups, 500 squats, and 500 crunches. Divide it however you want, but you're going to hit all of your body parts that way and build up muscle really easily.
Also, the carnivore bar is probably a good option too for truck drivers. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, carnivore bars are a great option.
Awesome.
Carnivore crisps, carnivore snacks, power pucks. Those are all.
There's a lot of great options out there now. When we first started carnivore, there was nothing. Now there's tons of options for being on the road. And also sticks of butter. You used to eat sticks of butter.
I have eaten sticks of butter in the car. You got to have a little bit of a cooler for those.
Yeah.
But either way, here's the other thing too. 80 to 90% good is better than 100% fail.
Yeah.
Right? So even if you can only do it some of the way, you're still doing a lot better than continuing to just eat the processed stuff or just the bad stuff in the restaurants.
Yeah. That makes
You
sense.
got this.
Right on. I really thank you guys for your time. By the way, how long have you two been married?
8 years.
8 years.
Right
A
on.
little over 8 years.
And it's Arizona you call home?
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks again so much for coming on, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
My trucker friends, you are the magic of the world. We can't survive without you, and your health and wellness matters to me so much. As a fertility doctor, I moved into the realm of health and wellness for all of us. At 68, I went carnivore. At 55, I've never felt better, and I want you to feel what I feel in life. And simply eating meat is the master meal for all of us. And we are the lions, no longer the pigs, cows, and sheep. But we need you to be healthy. Look at Kilt's Health, look at drkilts.com, look at Kilt's Mighty Tribe, and we want to communicate with you on the road wherever you're at. And we know that without you, we could not thrive and survive. So your health matters to me. And don't forget to check out a copy of Kilt's Keto is Carnivore, because we're the lions. Love you, my friends.
Thank you, Dr. Kiltz.
Hi, I'm Maya with Rhythm Kitchen, and we're talking about food on the road, especially if you're driving, as you are. And I'll say this, I do eat pretty healthy when I'm at home, but I also eat at 7-Eleven at least once a day. It's kind of my favorite place. And that's where I'd like to begin. Like, there are healthy options at 7-Eleven, and if you are on the road a lot specifically, you want to incorporate as much protein as possible. So I love hitting like all the beef jerky. You got to be careful about which ones to choose, but I feel like there's more and more options, especially in that meat section, to choose from. And I've also found like wild chips and things like that are over there. Then you can head over to the dairy section, and they've got eggs that you can already have pre-boiled. They've got cheese. They've got the snack packs. I always get up my coffee there, so if you're a little tired, that's a great reset as well. But yeah, utilizing the convenience stores, they're not bad places. In fact, I think they're you can find just as healthy options at 7-Eleven that you can at Whole Foods. And someone is going to come after me for that, but I totally think that's the case. I could live off 7-Eleven if I needed to. Yeah.
Right on. Thank you so much, Maya, for taking the time to talk with us. I really appreciate it.
Okay. First thing you have to remember, there's never a point where you don't have control of what you put into your mouth. So whether you're on the road, whether you're at home, whether you're out with family, on a trip, no matter what, you can make it work. Hard-boiled eggs, thermos of ground beef, put a pound of ground beef in there. There's no excuse for not putting proper food in your mouth. Every single day, you have the choice of what goes in here. It either leads to health or it leads to harm. And it's your choice and under your control.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
You know, I have a lot of truckers that follow me, and it's really difficult because I've been on the road. You see this terrible, the worst food you could possibly imagine in these small little places along the way. So I really think that I appreciate what you guys are doing, and I think that it's very, very important to get on the right diet so you can survive these long trips and have the good cognitive function you need to stay awake and really be sharp. So I think combining, I'm going to give you 2 tips. Definitely intermittent fasting, because that way it'll prevent fatigue and you'll actually get rid of all that brain fog. And then when you do eat, you know, maybe you're going to have you have a refrigerator in the back. You can keep things. You can do meat, eggs, cheese, things like that, and just pretty much do more protein. You know, you can always do certain nuts if you want to do that, but I would just focus on doing those 2 things. Is the simplest thing you could do, and I think that could be life-changing and prevent a lot of brain fog and struggle of trying to stay awake when these long trips.
Thank you so much for your time, Eric.
Sure.
We really appreciate it.
What's going on, you guys? So I think I get a lot of the questions from people about, you know, how to handle approaching a healthier lifestyle, especially when you're driving long hours on the road. It can be really challenging, and that's not uncommon. It's hard to make your life work when you're doing that. So what I have found works best for that community of people that I work with is, first of all, prepare your food in advance if you can. So, you know, if you can do ground beef and just make 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds of it in advance, that's great. Now, I would not salt it ahead of time. I'd put it in a big vat, and then as you go, salt it. Now, the reason for that is sometimes when you salt things and you're sitting, you just want to keep eating. So that could be helpful, just to have like a non-salted bit and then a salted bit. Now, if you stop in a gas station, like the reality is every single gas station is filled with products that have a high shelf life, right? And so they're pretty processed. Even beef jerky. Beef jerky is great, but if you can look at and make sure that there's not a ton of sugar in there, if you have some, it's not the end of the world, right? Depending on who you are. But there are a lot of jerkies where you can get like no sugar in it. It doesn't taste as good, obviously, right? It's going to be a little bit more dry, but it's very good for you, and you get used to the taste. So both options are good, but everything else basically in a gas station isn't great. So if you're craving something and you have had enough food and you know you're full, you're just craving, get a cup of hot water, and that'll reduce your cravings as well. It brings your ghrelin levels down, which is a hormone for hunger. So all those little things are tips and tricks. Hopefully that helps you in reinventing your reality. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Lauren. We really appreciate your time.
Hi everyone, Dr. Philip Ovadia here. I fix hearts, and I have had way too many truckers end up on my operating table. And let me tell you, once you're on my table, getting that CDL back is a son of a bitch. So we got to keep you off the table, and here are some quick tips to do that. First and foremost, plan ahead. When you're heading out on a trip, make sure you have your strategy for what you're going to eat. And carnivore, great way to go. You can get the burger patties, you can bring some hard-boiled eggs with you, cook up some bacon, put it in a bag. That's going to be good for, you know, many hours. And then, you know, fasting. Try and do some intermittent fasting while you're on the road is a great strategy, and less stops, more efficient driving. Final thing is you got to pay attention to your sleep. I know how tough it is, long hours on the road, you're sleeping in the trailer, you know, in the cab, and it's difficult to get good quality sleep and stay on a schedule, but sleep is one of the pillars of good health. So stay safe out there and stay off my operating table.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ovadia.
What is going on, y'all? Robert Sykes, the Keto Savage, and I would say my one piece of advice for over-the-road truckers when it comes to getting and staying healthy would be to simply meal prep your food. You could have 1 or 2 meals a day, but have that prepped and ready to go so that you remove that decision fatigue and have a healthy option there for you. Handy, you can heat it up in the truck, you can have it refrigerated in the truck, you can take out the guesswork and take out the likelihood of deviation.
Do you have any more advice for truckers?
I mean, sustainability is key, so finding ways to make it sustainable is absolutely paramount. As far as like staying in a movement pattern, being active, you know, I've got several clients that are truckers. Some of them will bring resistance bands with them on the rig. They'll have a few set of dumbbells. That way, like when you're stopped to fuel up, you can just simply move. That movement is going to be key. So yeah, I would 100% find ways to just have like little movement moments throughout the trucking day.
I appreciate it, Robert, and thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule.
My pleasure.
Eric Reynolds, also known as Keto 50. I'm a retired police officer from Florida. I was metabolically sick. I was 250 pounds. I discovered the keto carnivore route, intermittent fasting, and I ended up losing 80 pounds and managing my heart disease diagnosis and also my PTSD symptoms from being shot in the line of duty back in 2012, which led to my excess metabolic disease. I now run a nonprofit called Cops and Campers. All you campers and truckers, you want to come to one of our events, I've run 5 of them. We have health coaches coming. We're going to start doing blood work on you guys. And look us up, Cops and Campers. It's a retreat to help first responders and their families and whoever else, military members or just the general public also. Some of the pieces of advice I would do that I give to the road patrol guys, I would say try to fast as much as you can on a lot of these trips. If you do need some kind of supplementation of something, I use a lot of bone broth coffee with heavy cream, even a shot of stevia, because I was a cop. Dunkin' Donuts was in our blood veins, right?
Right.
So that's what I do. We try to fast most of the shift, and then the guys go afterwards and meet up and have like bacon and eggs, and you know, it's almost like Valhalla, Vikings getting together and celebrating. So that's been working. Just, you know, it keeps you focused, keeps you hungry, and you're paying attention driving. You guys are out there on the road. Hey, you got to be alert, right? So don't eat those carbs. They're just going to fill you up and make you sleepy.
Well, I really appreciate for your time. Thank you for your service, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Well, hey, it's important for you guys to take care of your nutrition. I know you spend a lot of time on the road, behind a wheel, maybe you don't have access to the best food that you think you can, but honestly, there's very good nutritious food if you realize that meat is incredibly beneficial for us. You can literally stop at any burger joint, just get some burger patties, get some steak, get some eggs, things like that along the road. Obviously, you know, when you are able to get out and walk around, get some activity every day as much as possible. I know there's a limit to how long you can drive consecutively now, so take advantage of those times to take care of your health. It's not a sprint, it's a long haul, but I can't tell you how important it is to dial in that nutrition. You know, it's things that we found that, you know, if you can get a belly full of steak and eggs, you probably won't need to eat for most of the trip, and that will sustain you in a way that you wouldn't otherwise realize. Okay?
Thank you, Sean. Really appreciate it. When we feed our body the proper nutrition or a proper human diet, it will take care of us a lot better than if we don't. We don't want our families to be hurt. We don't want to put them through that. It is tragic, and like I said, it is harsh. So is the harshness of truck accidents. This is reality. This is real life. This is life-changing. And drivers, you need to be aware that your health is the most important thing when you are traveling down these highways. Eating the junk food is not worth it for your health. Sure, it tastes amazing, but there are consequences to your actions. Other people have to suffer, and that's not right. A relative could have to pick up their niece or nephew because their parents were killed because a driver had a heart attack. This documentary is dedicated to saving lives. We also remember those lives and little angels who lost theirs due to these oftentimes preventable tragic accidents. Drivers, get your health in check. We all have a responsibility. We drive trucks. That's what we do. But that truck is almost an 80,000 pound missile running down the highway. We need to have our health in check. It's time. And I am optimistic that the current administration that's going to take over here January 2025 will be addressing health issues, including health issues of truck drivers. I'm very optimistic. So I will continue this message. I will continue.
Hi everyone, my name is Valerie Smith. I am 54 years old and I have been a ketogenic carnivore for 7 years. 7 years ago, up until I was 48 years old, I had an unlivable, tortured life. I suffered from 6 mental illnesses for 48 years of that life. I had schizophrenia, anorexia, OCD, diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and the self-harm that I used against myself during all of those years. I was cutting my arms and legs and dealing with trichotillomania, which is hair pulling. All of these things I was treated for with traditional treatment. I had dozens of psychiatrists, dozens of psychotic meds that were supposed to help me, and none of them ever reduced my symptoms at all. During all this time, I was told by nutritionists that a plant-based diet, devoid of fat, devoid of animal protein, was my best approach at living my best life. And decade after decade, I just continued to get sicker until my physical health also plummeted. I had 5 fractures in 5 years from osteoporosis. I had 7 surgeries in about 10 years for multiple organ prolapses because I'd lost so much muscle, my organs couldn't even stay in place. I'm thankful to not only to be alive, but to actually be 100% healed. All of my mental illnesses were metabolic brain dysfunction. Our brains and our bodies are connected. We can use a carnivore and a ketogenic diet to heal our bodies, but it also heals our brains. And I have been in complete remission for 7 years of all of those mental illnesses. My life has changed drastically. Every facet of my life is completely changed. Every relationship that I have now, I am on an equal playing field with them. I'm no longer the victim, and I have a caretaker taking care of me. I am outgoing, I'm vibrant, I have my life back, my health back, and I am looking forward to the future to continue to help others to find freedom.
Hi, I'm Robin Switzer. I am the founder of Hack Your Health, and this event has been taking place since 2017. I started doing this event after many years of poor health. I didn't understand that the symptoms that I was experiencing which were extreme overweight. I thought I just had a weight problem, but the truth is that my metabolism was out of whack. My hormonal balance was out of whack, and I had a severe food addiction. So what I did was, over many years, I worked really hard to try and lose that weight. And so I was on and off every single diet that I could find, even the dangerous ones, and I would lose weight and gain it back. It wasn't until I discovered low carbohydrate eating and had the courage to stick to it, because socially, 10-15 years ago, it wasn't socially acceptable. So there were a lot of challenges. I finally found low carbohydrate eating, and then eventually the ketogenic diet. And what happened was I was in a Facebook group for keto, and I saw a post in the group looking for a program manager. At the time I was a corporate banker, and I was traveling all over the country, managing large teams of people, and I was burned out. And I wanted to find a way to get involved in something that I could feel more passionate about, that I could build a career around, but also feel like I was really making a difference. And I did not feel that I was making a difference in banking. So when I saw this post for program manager, I thought, okay, this is a keto group. I don't know what this is, but maybe it's something for me. So we scheduled a phone call. I hit it off with the gentleman who had posted the ad. And 30 days later, I quit my job, Bank of America, and started working with an organization called Keto Evangelist, which was a startup. And the goal was to build this, we kept on calling it a keto empire. But basically, we built all these different business lines because we all had something in common. We were all following a ketogenic diet, and we had all improved our health. I had lost all the weight that I was struggling with. I had improved all my blood markers. Everything had turned around for me. And so we started, like I said, building this company. We had a retail brand, Ballistic Keto. We started a coaching division. He had several podcasts already started. We had multiple Facebook groups. And it was like 700,000 people that we had all combined in all these different channels. So we decided, let's do a live event. I had never produced a live event before, but as a banker, I had attended financial services and treasury management conferences. And I had spoken at those events, and I had also been an exhibitor at those events. So I used that experience to kind of back into building an event. So the first year we did KetoCon, the Science and Stories of Keto, 2017. We had about 589 people, I think, there, and 39 vendors. 2018, we came back and did it again. We doubled in size, and then again in 2019 we doubled in size. And then 2020, we were planning for 2020, and we had doubled again. So we were now, we had sold like roughly 2,400 tickets or so, and we had 120 vendors signed up to come. And then in March of 2020, we had to cancel the event because of COVID. So that was a horrible experience, and I won't go into all the details around that. But basically, my partner, the gentleman who I was working for, came to me and he said, we've got about 90 days and we're done. All the money is going out, but nothing's coming in. All the business lines have died overnight, including the event. The event was paid for and we had to cancel it. We're not getting any refunds. So I wasn't ready to give up. I had already invested my heart and soul into this, and I wasn't gonna walk away from it. I didn't know how it would work out, but I knew I wasn't ready to quit. So I told him, if you'll let me take it over, I'll acquire it from you, and I'll rebuild and rebrand. And that's actually what we did. So I acquired the company from him and all the assets, and then we started rebuilding. I had no idea it was going to take 2 years. I had no idea we'd be in lockdown for 2 years. But we started rebuilding all the other business lines. My son was working for me at the time, Ryan, who runs exhibitor sales and exhibitor management during the show and leading up to the show. And I had Rekha J, who was my graphic designer and web developer. And so they both came with me, and we started rebuilding. We could not do the event again until 2022. So 2020 we did virtual. 2022 we came back. And it was a great turnout because the people that were there really wanted to be there. The people that were there were ready to get out of the house, and they were ready to be around the people that they had a lot in common with again. And so that's what we did, but the turnout it was pretty good. We sold more tickets, and about half of the people who had purchased tickets for 2020 came. But it was really clear to me that I was going to need to consider rebranding, because there's so much more to overall health and health optimization than just the ketogenic diet. And I was also seeing that a lot of people were moving away from the keto and into carnivore. I wanted this event to be much more than just nutrition. I wanted to help educate people on all areas of health. So my son and I were on a road trip to North Carolina with my daughter-in-law and my granddaughter. And in the middle of the night, we're driving down the highway trying to figure out how are we going to do this, because I can't pay a marketing company to plan this out for me. I don't have the money. We're going to have to go on our gut. And we're going to have to find a name for this event that incorporates all areas of health, not just keto, not just nutrition. And we banged our heads against the wall for a long time until finally Ryan said, how about Hack Your Health? And it just clicked for all of us right away. So driving down the highway, I'm on GoDaddy buying the URL. Thankfully it was available. And that's how we rebranded. But we decided to do it slowly so that we wouldn't have to go from keto to something else overnight. So what we did was, the first year we just changed the tagline. So we were KetoCon, the science and stories of keto. We changed it to KetoCon, Hack Your Health. And then through all of our social channels and on interviews that I did and so forth, our website, we just kept on peppering in Hack Your Health everywhere with the full intention of rebranding to Hack Your Health. And that's what we did this year. So this year the event is Hack Your Health by KetoCon, and we'll probably eventually drop the by KetoCon part, but that's where we are today. And so, without taking over the whole thing, I know you want to say something too. This event is about a lot of things. One, it's a passion project. So it's something that I do all year, every year, and building a community of people who are super passionate about their health. And there's something that I have to say. If you've ever been to a concert or seen somebody famous and you're in an environment where everybody is there to see the same thing, it's something that you all have in common. And when you're around people that you have something in common with, it takes on a life of its own. It's a higher level of energy. And so what I feel about this event is that everybody here has something in common. The fact that they are passionate about, or interested in at least, improving their health. They're either just starting a healthy journey because they were newly diagnosed with something, they're trying to lose weight, they are looking for ways to improve their longevity. Somebody like me who's in their 60s is looking for ways to age well rather than just aging. And I think it's really important that people have a place where they feel they're welcome regardless of where they are in their journey. And that's like the bottom line of all this. So I want people to feel welcome regardless of if they're still overweight or if they're struggling with a health issue or if they're already fit and they're looking for ways to improve other areas of health. So I'm trying to bring as much of a rounded approach as I possibly can. So I think you'll see that in this event. You'll see people in different areas or different places in their journey. Everyone's in a different spot.
Absolutely, and you've done a wonderful job with this. And
thank you.
I'm sorry, did you say 60s?
Yeah, I'm 62.
Wow. See, people, this is what this kind of lifestyle brings you. Because this woman, I'm sitting right across from her, and she does not look 62. I never would have guessed.
Really? I feel it sometimes, but
no, I know how that
it.
goes. But no, you don't look it at all.
Well, thank you.
You don't. Thank you so much for your time. Do you have any advice for truck drivers at all as far as food goes on the road?
Well, I'll tell you, doing a lot of I like to travel. I like to do road trips, so I'm experienced in truck stops and convenience stores and so forth. And I agree, it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge. However, there are options. It just takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of determination to make a positive choice for yourself, because what's in those places is such a small fraction of the overall what they're bringing to you. Like, it's all in your face. But usually what I pick up are things like hard-boiled eggs, cheese sticks, no fat, no sugar yogurt, that kind of stuff, unflavored nuts, sometimes beef jerky, but most of the stuff in the convenience stores is not. But I'll tell you what, in places like North Carolina or Ohio, I've stopped at truck stops where they have beef jerky that's made locally that doesn't have all the crap in it. So I realize it is definitely a challenge, but it can be done.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's hard to make a choice that is for your own good. You know, we're always taking care of other people. We know what's best. But when we're surrounded by all this temptation, it's not just temptation. It's mega temptation because it's flashing in your face. It's colorful. It's the first thing you see. It's like it's right in front of you. It can be.
It's December 1st, and we're here. We made it. Thank you everyone for watching this documentary. Stay tuned. Okay, that is the documentary, Trucking on Steak and Eggs. I hope you learned a lot from this documentary. I've enjoyed making it. This is my first documentary I've made. Yes, there is going to be a sequel, Trucking on Steak and Eggs, Back to the Bacon, coming out next year. If you are a professional in the health industry, fitness industry, or you're a social media influencer that lives this lifestyle and would like to be in the second documentary, email me. You've got the email now, and let's talk. I would sincerely like to thank all of the people who donated their generous time to helping make this project a reality. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I speak for myself and truckers all over the country. Thank you. Now, it's time to mention a few things. There was a segment of this documentary that was lost due to a technical glitch. Google can't explain it. Technology, gotta love it, right? But in order to have this release on the date that I promised of December 1st, which is today, I am going to thank my sponsors this way. Equip Foods. There's the email. This I use when I need extra protein. You can use this before workouts, during workouts. Anytime you feel you need extra protein, you can use. These are the cleanest ingredients. This is grass-fed beef isolate, but it doesn't taste like beef. This particular one's vanilla. It tastes like vanilla cake. It's amazing. Now, this link right here, you see this one that's appearing right here? Okay? The release date today is December 1st, 2024. Right now, the Black Friday through Cyber Monday sale is going on until Monday. So, if you go to this link, you will save 30% site-wide. Now, after the sale, this link, you will save 15% off of their products, and it's good for 1 year. That's right. Thank you, Equip Foods. They've given you discount now for 1 year for watching this documentary. Now, Redmond's Real Salt is not a sponsor of this documentary, but this is the salt that I use. I wanted you to see it. This is the best salt on the market, in my opinion. In my opinion, okay? I've used this rigorously now ever since I went into this way of eating. You need your sodium. You need your salt. Get a clean one. Don't get ones that have sugar, extra natural flavors in them. Not good for you. This is a good product. A lot of people in this community use this product. Highly recommend it. Now, Redmonds, if you're watching, there's a sequel coming. Contact me. There's my email. You heard from Chris and Miriam Bear, the founders of Keto Chow and Salty. Keto Chow website. Salty website. On this way of eating, you need electrolytes. This has the right combination of sodium, magnesium, and potassium. They come in a variety of flavors. They're delicious, and they do not use maltodextrin, as you heard Chris say in the documentary. The other product, Keto Chow, this is a meal replacement shake, and you can use these in recipes too. Highly recommend. I use these on the truck. If there's a day I just can't get the meal in, it's right here. This gives me the calories and the nutrition that I need. There it is. Variety of flavors. Go check them out. When I'm ready for a snack on the road, especially when I'm driving, I reach for a beef stick. And lately, I've been using Elite Energy. They come in individually wrapped beef sticks. Very clean ingredients. Here's their information. I know, right? Doing this kind of video. You do what you got to do to make it work. Now, you heard from Robert Sykes in this documentary. This is not a sponsor, but this is a product I use. And I only promote products that I use personally. That's it. If you see it here, I use it. This is Keto Brick. They come in a variety of flavors, highly shelf stable. You get the calories, you get the nutrients your body needs. This is also a meal replacement. Highly recommend. Drivers, recommend these. Just like I recommend Keto Chow. I wish to thank my employer, MC Van Kampen, for allowing me to produce this documentary utilizing their equipment. I love working for this company. It's a great company. They treat me fairly. I'm able to support my family. And I've got a great truck. I do. They make sure I've got a refrigerator. They make sure I have an inverter so I can cook on the truck. Much healthier. They are very supportive of driver health. So a shout out to MC Van Kampen. And they will be sponsoring something special coming up this year. So stay tuned. You are not going to want to miss the sequel. I promise you that. And finally, those of you who know me know that I also design t-shirts. This is one of them, Carnivore Strong. You can go to carnivorewerewolf.com. Gee, the website. Right there. There it is. Top link, my carnivore t-shirts. Click that. I sell them for the minimum profit on Amazon. My t-shirts on average are $18.99. They're of great quality and there are a variety of designs. And yes, this is December. There is a Christmas design. Rachel from Two Crazy Ketos will attest to that because she loves that shirt. So thanks again for watching the documentary, and we'll see you in the sequel, Back to the Bacon. It's coming. On this channel, subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me. I'm going to now tell you a secret. Some of you know earlier in the year that I started eating Lucky Charms. Why did I do that? Because they came out with a study saying Lucky Charms was healthier than eating red meat. which is a falsehood. It is not healthier. Now, this is what I used to look like before I started on the Lucky Charms daily. And it's just one of those personal cups. Okay? Now, I've gained all this weight. Got my jowls back. And I've done it I did it for two reasons. One, I wanted to show that was a falsehood about Lucky Charms. Or cereal in general. Cereal has grains. They feed grains to cattle to fatten them up. It does the same thing to humans. It'll fatten you up. Why did I do this? For the second reason. The second reason, so that y'all can follow me daily. I'm going to show you how I lose this weight, get back in health, because I've done it before. I know how to do it. I've learned a lot of different things that I didn't know before. And we're going to do this together. That's right. I did this so we can do this together. And I'm not going to be able to have people say, oh, you just don't understand. I do understand. I'm right there with you. Right here, right now. So let's go. We've got a great year ahead of us. We're going for driver optimum health. And I'm going to help you with that. So again, thank you for watching the documentary. God bless you all. I love you all. And we'll talk soon.